Okay. So if I'm sharing, cool. Okay. Hi guys, this is Gobind. I'm currently in Nmims second year. I'll complete my course within next 2 months. And I interned with a edtech startup called Education Litmus. Then over there, I was doing a general management role. And before that, I was working in Accenture for 3.5 years. I worked there as an automation tester. And I graduated from Kid University from mechanical engineering. I was born and brought up in Delhi, and major my schooling was also done from Delhi. Now, so can we get a raise of hands? How many of you have got calls from NMIMS? Okay, pretty like there are a good number of people. So I'll like most of you would be knowing what exactly is going to be the format, but so things have changed. I when I entered NMIMS, the process was little different. At that time, the process was so it's a little bit about the MMS. It's a 44 plus year school, NIF ranking 24, and B school. It has got some accreditations as well. Now, when we talk about the selection process majorly, they'll so there is first I'll let me explain what happened my year, then I'll explain this year, which happened last year. In my year, there was no SOP kind of thing. They gave us interview calls. We were called for the interview. Over there, we got what, which is the written aptitude test. Post that, we were called for a normal interview. And then there was some weightage of like the weightage we have this year. There was the major chunk was NMAT score in my year. Last year, things got changed. A new test was introduced, the competency test. This year, we don't know what is going to happen because so when this happened, the new process was introduced. The average work got increased, and like the calls in my year, the cutoff for NMIMS was 232, but last year it got reduced to 209. This changed a lot of things. The student quality somewhat went up. Some things changed. Different things which we heard from the professors, that sometimes they got somebody who was very sharp at 209 score, and somebody who was not that great but still was sitting in the interview. So a lot of things. They might be still they even we don't know. I tried to ask few of my professors if there is anything which we like, if they can tell me what is the process going to be, but they were not ready to share this at this point. So it could be competency test, it could not be competency test, but mostly it will, like, if the pattern is followed like last year, because last year it was more of competency test only. 50% of the weightage was from competency test. And the yeah. So last year cutoff, this year also it's 209. Okay, perfect. Again, so if the cutoff is still 209, that means they would be going with the competency test. And like we all know, the competency test is having the 50% weightage. The competency test last year had three sections majorly, which was verbal, logical reasoning, and managerial skills. 20 questions out of these things. Managerial skills was only having 5 questions, but that was the major game changer, बिकॉज उसके अंदर आपसे एबिटा से भी सवाल पूछा जा सकता है, ऑपरेशन से रिलेटेड भी पूछा जा सकता है. So if somebody is coming with a work ex, that is why we see 37 years, 37 months of average work ex in this batch, which is currently serving as first year. Because जिन लोगों के पास थोड़ा वर्क एक्स का एक्सपीरियंस है, they might be able to answer those kind of questions better. दैट इज वाई. और कॉम्पिटेंसी टेस्ट का कंपोनेंट जो है 50% है. लॉजिकल रीजनिंग और वर्बल सबको ही आता होगा. व्हाट आई हर्ड फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट ईयर्स एज वेल, व्हाट आई हर्ड फ्रॉम द जूनियर्स, इट वाज नो लाइक नो ब्रेनर. इट वाज मोर लाइक सिमिलर लाइक योर एनमैट और कैट. बट मेजर जो आपको चेंज करेगा, जो आपके फॉर्चून चेंज करेगा एनएमआईएमएस में आने के लिए, दैट वुड बी द दिस मैनेजर स्किल्स का क्वेश्चन सेक्शन, which is 5 questions. And again, the weightage is में NMAT score, you all might have got it, which is 20%. अब
Actually,
उसके बाद
thing you were saying is
yeah,
faster. This year it is 60% for competency test and NMAT score is 10%. That is the
that is
updated.
now this is the changed thing.
Okay,
This
okay.
is since the results are out today only. So even I have not updated this because I was not
Oh,
having this
okay,
thing
okay.
with
No
me.
problem. No problem.
Yeah. When we talk about the AI and the human interview, so if whenever the person sits, you based on your SOP, the AI will ask you a few questions, and there will be a human. The professor would be sitting besides that computer as well. You'll be answering the questions to the AI. Suppose that if the professor feels that they want to ask something, they can also add and ask few questions. And if they feel satisfied, then they'll let you know. Mostly, what I have heard from the juniors, they do ask one or two questions to make you feel little comfortable. जो यहाँ पे हमने ग्रेजुएशन मार्क्स लिखा हुआ है, ग्रेजुएशन में सिर्फ ग्रेजुएशन नहीं है, उसमें आपके पूरे अकार्ड्स आ जाते हैं, 12th भी आता है, 10th भी आता है. आई गेस नाउ यू मस्ट हैव गॉट दिस. सो लाइक समबडी वाज पॉइंटिंग आउट, इसका भी ब्रेकेज दिया होगा. 5% ग्रेड का होता है, 5% आई गेस 10th 12th का होता है. And
This
somebody
year
who's
it's
coming,
0% for graduation marks. Like there is no weightage for graduation or academics.
yeah, so this is the updated one. But workx का I guess अभी भी 10. Just a sec, I'll go through that. Competency test is 60% and Nmat score is 10%. Personal interview has been introduced like to 15%. Last year, many people were complaining ki how can interview be only 10%, but now it has been increased to 15%. And rest is this thing, work experience. बैच की बिकॉज ऑफ द कॉम्पिटेंसी टेस्ट वी आर सीइंग जो हमारे अभी फर्स्ट ईयर के लोग हैं दैट देयर इज 37% 37 मंथ्स ऑफ एवरेज वर्क एक्सपीरियंस. सो थोड़ा सा बेनिफिट मिल रहा है बिकॉज, और लोग ये प्रेफर भी इसलिए करते हैं क्योंकि 37 जब कोई वर्क एक्सपीरियंस के साथ आता है उसको थोड़ा प्लेस कराना आसान होता है. कंपनीज आर जनरली लुकिंग फॉर प्ले लाइक पीपल विद हु आर कमिंग विद अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ वर्क एक्सपीरियंस. बैकग्राउंड, अगर हम एकेडमिक बैकग्राउंड की बात करें, अगेन like we all see that engineering is the major chunk and rest is like rest is divided. Then work experience also who are coming, some are like IT, FMCG, other conglomerates, and BFSI and consulting. Mostly now, since you all have this thing, if you have any questions, we can go with that. Yeah,
Also, I
pressures
just
are
want
there.
to add couple of points here. I think as far as the personal interview is concerned, right, the entire process would mostly be similar to like what happens in other B schools or what happens when you give or when you appear for mock interviews, right? So if you are looking for, let's say, personal interview help or GDPI help, I think any coaching or let's say our GDPI booster would help you there. Right. Coming to the competency test, I think Govind, a lot of students are worried about that. Maybe if you can just share what exactly are expected. What I have heard when it comes to, let's say, some logic-based questions or English questions are, I think those questions are mostly on the similar lines of what you solved in your NMET test.
Correct.
Right. When
Majorly
it comes
the
to
majorly
management
the
questions, the
yeah.
things may change.
Last year they had only 5 questions. Maybe this year they can like the competency test has gone a little bit up as well. Now it's 60%. So maybe now there is some the question number also might change, the number of questions. Managerial questions last year were only 5 questions, and people were complaining that how can, because if most of the people are prepared with verbal and with logical reasoning, but the 5 questions were not expected to anybody. So even this year the number of questions might change, but and so those were more on the lines of if you can calculate the EBITDA or basic calculations, if you know the P&L statement and some basic calculations of the operational efficiency on those lines.
Yeah, exactly.
This
I
is what.
mean, on the portal as well. So the PDFs that we are uploaded, for example, what I would suggest, because when it comes to management, the questions might come from different areas as well. For example, if they increase the number of questions from 5 to 15, right, they would for sure include questions from finance, operations, marketing, strategy, consulting, right? So in that case, I would say just run through basics of consulting, maybe the jargon, the BCG metrics, and when it comes to again, let's say finance, the different kind of ratios, the different kind of valuation methods. So just go through the basics of all these things. It will help you better prepare for the interviews as well, right? You are for sure going to ace the competency test, right? But along with that, I think you will be better prepared for interviews as well.
When they are giving you the managerial thing, the questions related to this, they are trying to judge if you are in a certain situation. Most of them are situational questions. Now, sometimes what people, now if they listen to a word called EBITDA, if they listen to a word called operational efficiency, they might not know what is the meaning of it. So if you even know the meaning of these jargons, most of the times it's very easy to solve those questions because those are no brainers. They are not expecting you to know everything. They're going to teach you when you get inside the B school, but still they want to know that if you are if you are put in a particular situation, are you able to solve that situation? Are you able to think like a manager? Those are the things they're expecting out of you. Umar has asked if there are any juniors, if there are any freshers in my junior batch. There is always a mix of freshers and juniors, like freshers and work ex people. So it's not like that freshers are not given any chance. Everybody is there. The only the batch is having a higher side of work experience. Guys, if you have any questions, you
So,
need to come and up. Yeah, ask.
so it's just a doubt that is it is possible to get a convert in NMIMS below 230 marks or below 225 marks?
100%. I know people who have converted at 212 at 230.
Okay, thank you.
See, the point
So
is
like there's not.
if they have reduced, uh, see, the first major point of taking NMET is to segregate you guys from, let's say, the thousands of the candidates who are appearing for the same test. Now when they have clearly mentioned that they are just taking 10% of your scores, right? So now just take an example that if someone has scored 250 or someone has scored 210, right, in absolute terms it is a difference of 40 points, but when you just reduce it to 10% of it, it is just 4 marks. And that kind of edge you can get in competency test, which has 60% weightage, and in the personal interview part, right? So it does not mean that they are inviting a lot of students who have just cleared the cutoff just to reject them, right? I believe that everyone who appears for the interview, right, appears for a reason, and you have full chance to convert, right? Now it completely depends upon you how you think for it. And again, coming on to the work experience part, I think this year we have seen a lot of changes, right? Changes in terms of cat cutoffs, changes in terms of, let's say, what happened in snap exam, right? So the changes that are reflected on, let's say, website on result, right, it is, I would say, a culmination of different things, right? Maybe this year it may happen that they end up choosing a lot of freshers, right? So the
Yes.
work ex part might get reduced because professors do not have that live data, right? They don't have that biasness in mind ki, okay, now we have selected 10 professors on day 10 freshers on day one, we will not select any fresher on day two, right? That is like a complete injustice to the candidates, right? So they don't have this live tracking or something where they will just keep tracking every second. After the interviews are over, after your CS will be prepared, it's just that sometimes they automatically, because they are giving 15% extra weightage to the work experience candidate, so this is natural that the batch average work ex would be increased, right? But that does not mean that
Correct.
the batches will not have any kind of fresher or something.
Pressures are there. There are many people. If you're having doubts, reach out to people. Just search NMIMS on the LinkedIn and reach out to people who are freshers. You'll get freshers. You'll find people over there. And if you have certain doubts, you can still ask them, ki, okay, if you are facing any difficulty. But it's not like that. From the very day one, they are teaching you everybody in the similar way. Somebody who's coming from a finance background, somebody who's coming from a IT background, somebody who's not having any kind of background. They're just having plain are coming after graduation. So this is not the thing that freshers are not getting chance. Yes, like Pallav mentioned, since the work experience is getting 15% there is 15% weightage to that, and the competency test also added a little bit of edge over there because people might be knowing those questions or those answers were coming from work experience. That is why that reflected in the batch profile. But since they have also noticed this kind of thing, this year they might change it and they might bring it down.
So, sir, as a fresher, how do you deal with managerial questions?
Have you appeared for that?
Yes, sir.
There was a decision making section over there.
Yes.
These are similar questions, nothing much more than that. But yes, in ZAD decision making questions, there was what they did last year was they added few jargons. You might not be knowing those jargon, and like Pallab said, there are some PDFs which will be helping you for the competency test. Go through
Okay,
those
see,
PDFs, go through,
then
give those
again,
tests.
yeah, I want to add couple of points here. See, when it comes to competency test, no one can give you, let's say, 70 questions or 100 questions from where you need to prepare, and then based on that you can answer the things, right? The general idea is, let's say if you are going as a MBA aspirant, you are not an MBA candidate, you are just an aspirant, you are a UG student or have some years of work ex. The basics are expected from you. For example, in
Yes,
some of the questions, if they introduce, let's say, inflation, or if they introduce some kind of marketing, let's say guerrilla marketing, if they introduced operating cash flow, right? So these kind of jargons might be expected from you, and I am pretty sure that if you are serious about your interviews, you must be going through some kind of material already, right? So if you just go through, let's say if you just pick basics of finance, a basics of finance mein, when you open the PDF, you will only get knowledge related to finance only. Just read that PDF. When you enter into the PDF of marketing, there will be complete knowledge set of marketing. So you just have to brush up the basics only, so that at least you know that in case there is some jargon. And believe me, in if it happens that there are some terminologies which you don't know, but if you have basics of let's say some particular subject ready with you, you will still have higher chance of getting that question correct, because I'm pretty sure they are just testing ki basics बिल्कुल पता है या नहीं है, so there will not be tough questions or tough option elimination.
exactly. And Pallab said, if you're preparing for your interviews, you must be going through the newspaper. You get to know most of the terms over there. What exactly is happening in the industry.
Also,
And so it's on the basis of SOP, right? Whatever you write in the SOP.
AI might ask you questions based on your SOP.
Okay.
And how to
one
prepare for the SOP?
one
Your SOP is always so when you are preparing your SOP, you always have your long-term goal. In your SOP also, there is nothing different you're doing. What is exactly it is? Statement of purpose. If you have a long-term goal, you map it in a way that you start with a long-term goal, then you jot it down to short-term goal. Then you talk about how this MBA experience is going to build onto that. So it's some people do, they just talk about their previous experiences. That is fine. Talk about your previous experiences, how it has given you motivation to go for an SOP, go for an MBA. But in your SOP also, you need to write and think and purposefully write in your for your interviews as well. When you are preparing for your YMBA, it is very similar to your YMBA question. That what is my long term goal, where do I want to reach in my 10 years down the line, where do I see myself, and to do that, how is MBA going to play a part in this? That is what simply you write in your SOP. Obviously you write few elements in your life which has taken and how they have inspired you, and what different you want to do, how are you suitable for this particular B school. आप कई बार आप उनकी एनवाईएमएस की वेबसाइट से जाओगे, उनकी कोई कमिटीज देखोगे, कोई वैल्यूज देखोगे, उससे अपने आप को अलाइन करोगे. वेरी सिमिलर वे.
wanted to ask about the work experience. If I have the part-time work experience, does it even count a little bit or not at all?
Have you written it in the NMAT form? Were you
Yeah,
able
I
to add it in the
have.
NMAT form?
Like,
If you have,
mostly I have, but I remember there was one form where it was written no part time are allowed. So I just can't remember if it was an NMIMS form or something else.
No, they've mentioned no part time.
No part time. हाँ तो वही था. For then I think then you get no marks if it's part time, right?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
talk, when you're writing your SOPs, you can talk about your experiences,
Like
because
it's
in your
properly
interview as well.
paid only, but yeah,
That's
it's
that is what I'm
okay.
saying. When you're writing your SOPs or going for an interview, there are some things which you can't give in as you can't mention in the form because they have few guidelines. But when you're talking to an interviewer, when you're writing your SOP, these are your life experiences. You might not have proof for that, but you can talk about that. That is your experience. You can share that. And
Okay.
since somebody might ask you answer questions on that, since you have worked on it, you're saying that it was a well-paid job, you worked over there.
Yeah, yeah,
Explain
yeah.
about your project. What were your learnings? How did it shape you? How did things pan out over there? What was your role? That is what is work experience for. So mention it.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much.
I have heard that the
Hi.
competency.
Actually, my question is for Pallav, since you are also from economics background and you itself. So I wanted to know that since there are less than 20 days remaining for the interviews, how do I prepare for economics given that I was not good in finance? And I hope you remember that we do have subjects for finance based as well, for example econometrics and corporate finance. So how do I tackle that?
See, oh, okay. So see, first, this is for everyone. I think most of the students who are attending the session, they might not have started their preparation because nobody is expecting 209 cutoff at this point of time, right? And most of you might have interview in the next 20 to 30 days, right? The first thing I would suggest is obviously have someone along with your side to guide you, or maybe if this is your best shot, I would say also get your SOPs and everything reviewed by some mentor. That is the first thing. Second thing, when it comes to economics, right? So be it economics, marketing, or anything, right? The best way to prepare is first go through the your UG concepts, right? Whatever main concepts were there, you should know that. Second point is you should be able to think from the panel's perspective as well, right? So for example, if you say that I come from economics background, right, even if your college has some corporate finance subject, my college did not offer that subject, right? So panel might think that okay, I will not ask questions from corporate finance because she belongs to economics, but definitely there can be, let's say, bulk of questions from microeconomics, macroeconomics, international economics, and even in those areas, you should know the, let's say, top parts because economics is very vast, and generally, when you go for the MBA interviews, a very good amount of knowledge is expected from you, right? Even in depth as well, and even in terms of variety as well, right? So first make sure you know micro, macro, and let's say international economics, then different kind of models which are there, good hold over statistics, econometrics. I know this is too much, but this is what you have to cover because now you cannot take a lot of chances. Second is you should also have very good knowledge about how the India is doing, right? About the realities, what's the current growth rate, what's the current, let's say, fiscal deficit, right? What's like how the GDP is calculated, which method India follows for the GDP calculation, what is the base year, right? What are kind of different deflators or inflation index. So all these things are also very important, right? So again, when it comes to your subject knowledge, I think everyone should think it from two perspectives. First is to cover whatever is taught to you in UG. Second part is whatever can be expected out of professors, right? So they will not always go to your mark sheet and ask you from a particular subject. They can ask the most famous question, and they can ask something which is real or which is going around you or your economy.
All right, thank you so much. Also, I was thinking of mentioning that I scored 255 in NMAT. Do you think that would bring out, like, take my interview in some positive light?
Yeah,
I
again,
don't know
see,
how this score.
when you mention
Yeah.
something, right? So if it fits into the story, right? Because generally, again, I would suggest that to get it reviewed by someone, right? Otherwise, your entire SOP or your entire structure of HR questions, right, would not make sense. Because if you openly ask me, shall I mention 255 or not, right? Depends on where you are putting it, why you are putting it, right? For example, now it's hard for me to think in which answer you will say that I scored 255, right? And what impact it will create.
Maybe if you have a
All
very
right.
good academic background, you have been always like 999s and all, then still you could mention in your intro or
Huh.
something that oh, I have scored 255 over there. But only these kind of in these kind of scenario it makes sense. Randomly you can't just throw away this thing ki, I got 255.
All
Again,
right,
maybe
makes
it's
sense.
more about
Yes.
like again the point is कि कितना story, I mean where do you want to drive your interview? If you are saying I'm academically good, I've scored 255, and then you are missing out on very basic concepts of economics, right? Then again you are
Correct,
you are
correct,
not
correct.
driving the interview in right direction. तो उसी के लिए I am saying कि first start with, let's say, 5-10 HR questions, right? Usko likho, then because whatever mentor is allocated to you, he or she will understand the entire story. He or she will tell you कि ठीक है, इसमें you have to make these kind of changes, and then you can also communicate कि I am not comfortable with economics, I don't want to touch it, right? So you have to make stories around your profile.
All right, makes sense. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Can
Hello.
you write about CA articleship in SOP or at
Yeah, yeah.
introduction during the
We have
interview?
to I think take a pause and clarify that it is very difficult to answer, right? How you can, so for example, if someone asks how I can explain the gap year, right? So for these kind of questions, we need context around that, right?
Correct,
For example, again,
correct.
you are saying CA articleship. I would not mind answering it, but the point is, it would be least helpful without having full context about your profile, about what you do, about what stream you want to say in the interview.
Okay.
See,
So if
very
you have any
honestly,
questions
anything
related
and everything
particularly
can be
to,
written.
sorry, come again.
Sorry, Pallav,
Yeah,
you can
Bhavin,
go
you
ahead.
can continue.
So if anybody has questions like if we can add this or add that, very honestly, you can add anything. But the point is, you should be able to justify that. If there is no backing to that thing, if there is no justification to that thing, then there is no point in writing anything. आप जो लिख रहे हो, whenever I'm taking HR reviews, na, if somebody comes up and tells me tell me something about yourself, I always tell them ki each and every line, each and every word attracts a question. Even if let's say you say ki I come from Jaipur, now they can ask you Jaipur ka which city is called Jaipur, uski kya khasiyat hai, kuch hai. So whatever you are writing, it can attract kind questions. So if you mention CA articleship, they can get it behind you and ask you CA के concepts. आप उसको अगर जस्टिफाई कर पाओगे तो आप लिख सकते हो, अगर आप नहीं जस्टिफाई कर पाओगे तो नहीं लिख सकते. फिर वो पूछेंगे कि आपने सीए करने के बाद एमबीए क्यों कर रहे हो, तो वहां से भी आपके क्वेश्चन उस तरफ भी जा सकते हैं.
Yeah, correct. Okay, thank you. And one more thing, can we add that under work ex? Like, do articleship count under work ex?
You need to go through the NMIMS guidelines. Like somebody said that part time वाला नहीं हो सकता. I'm not very sure कि
I
ये
think
होता
it's
है या नहीं
always
होता, तो
full
उसकी
time only.
guidelines.
मतलब whatever you search about in any college, it's full time only. I think you guys
Yes,
know that,
correct.
but you have just that kind of temptation to add more things wherever it fits.
One more question I want. So it's like after that, we had stopped preparing and practicing verbal ability and logical reasoning. So what we can do now to assure good marks in competency test, because being a fresher, I have no work experience. So that 15% of weightage of work experience, I cannot get those marks. Also, the marks for exam of NMAT also 10%, but not securing great marks also reduce some points. So all the weightages of a competency test. So how we can practice right now so that we can assure good marks in that?
Yeah, if you have already prepared for CAT, ZAT, and NMAT, and that, malab, I believe ki after giving 3-4 exams, you should be comfortable with at least verbal reasoning and logical reasoning.
Yeah,
So
that's the
now is the
point.
time.
But
Now is the time to prepare for the interview, because interview call तो आ गया ना. अब वहां जो आप करोगे सो करोगे. अभी तक तो आपने prepare कर लिया ना verbal के लिए और logical reasoning के लिए.
प्रिपेयर किया, बट द थिंग इज जैसे कैट के पहले भी वी प्रैक्टिस्ड अ लॉट. हमने आरसी रोज प्रैक्टिस किए तो वो स्किल डेवलप हुई. जैसे थोड़ी प्रैक्टिस छूट जाती है, सो द कंफ्यूजन, द रीडिंग एबिलिटी थोड़ी स्लो डाउन हो जाती है. जो प्रोसेस करने की मतलब पावर होती है थोड़ी सी स्लो डाउन हो जाती है.
यार एनमेट
सो टू
मॉक्स दे दो, मतलब there is no solution to that. What do you
करेक्ट.
think
बाकी
मतलब
रीडिंग तो
we
आपको
can do?
करनी है ना. आपको पेपर पढ़ना है, आपको न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ना है, आर्टिकल पढ़ना है, तो वो तो इसमें तो लाइक पल्लव सेड, हम लोग क्या करेंगे इसमें. अगर आपको लगता है कि आपकी इसमें एबिलिटी कम है, यू कीप प्रैक्टिसिंग. आप अपना 1 घंटा निकालो, आप इस पे काम करो कि मैं 1 घंटा वर्बल करूंगा, 1 घंटा लॉजिकल एक्स्ट्रा ऐड करूंगी. एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट
Exactly.
डालो इफ यू फील की नहीं, आई एम नॉट दैट कॉन्फिडेंट.
There's one thing I've seen on Reddit, and all these reviews said that the competency test level keeps varying. So if you take the test in earlier slots, it might be easy. So like, is it true? Is it legit? Because I've heard that and I've read that a lot. That the
Yeah,
competency.
that happens in Nmat as well, that people who are taking the tests earlier,
Hmm.
they usually get a little lower like level, because at the end of the day, people who are booking later ke slots, they are getting more time, they are getting more knowledge ki ab competency mein kya aa raha hai, kaise ho raha hai. So just to keep the balance maintained, this might happen, the people who are taking the later slots might get a level higher.
Okay. So like, preferably, can you suggest some date or slots? Like, should we book the slots on like 10th to 12th February? It is somewhere in the second week.
I would suggest as early as possible,
Okay. Okay.
because that will maintain that your level of competency test is still reachable. But if you are not getting slots, if there is a clash, then you can't do anything about it. Then just prepare well and go for it.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Also,
Okay, thanks.
I just want to add one disclaimer to what Gobind has said, right? Just don't run for the early slots. Only run for the early slots if you are interview ready. So it should not happen
Correct.
that you
Fair.
are preparing let's say, I am pretty sure if professors do not like you, so doesn't matter however high marks you have scored in the competency test, still you will be rejected somehow, right? Or maybe they might have kept some, let's say, bare minimum passing mark for interview as well. So we never know. So it should not happen like that. You are scoring full in competency test, but you don't know anything about the interview.
Makes
Correct.
sense. Makes sense. Okay.
So can you please tell like how I calculate work experience marks?
I believe they would have given a description where from ranging from number of months,
No,
there the marks
sir,
would vary.
they have not given it.
Hey, why do
If
But
they
you
have
that
not
do
given
is
it,
maths part,
written.
yaar? मतलब
हाँ
focus more
exactly.
on PI or competency. I'm
I
pretty
think
वैसे
sure
भी
one
आप
they
अपने
have
more.
मार्क्स
not.
चेंज थोड़ी कर सकते हो.
And if
ये
they
भी
have
तो
not
सोचो
made
ना,
it
आपके जो
publicly,
मार्क्स है सो
nobody
है.
would have known it, right? गोविंद को भी नहीं पता होगा कैसे कैलकुलेट होते हैं.
करेक्ट. नहीं, मेरे को भी नहीं पता एग्जैक्टली. कंट्रोल द कंट्रोलेबल्स जो आपके हाथ में नहीं है. 10th 12th एनमैट स्कोर छोड़ दो. अब जो आपके हाथ में है, आपका एनमैट, आपका कॉम्पिटेंस, सॉरी, आपका इंटरव्यू, आपका कॉम्पिटेंसी, उस पर फोकस करो.
And you guys don't have any weightage for the academics as well, right? तो आपको बस simple फंडा यही है कि you have to just score 209 in NMAT or more than that. You get a chance to interview. Now you should focus on PI part. You should impress them.
हेलो लाइक आई एम फ्रॉम द फील्ड ऑफ आर्किटेक्चर तो मुझे ये थोड़ा गाइडेंस में मतलब प्रॉब्लम आ रही है कि मेरे प्रीवियस अंडरग्रेड से रिलेटेड हाउ कैन आई स्टडी अबाउट इट कि एमबीए में कैसे पूछा जा सकता है लाइक आई एम नॉट गेटिंग मच गाइडेंस ऑन दैट
डू यू हैव एनी वर्क एक्सपीरियंस?
Mentors.
like approximately 1 year of work experience is there.
What I could think is they'll ask you कि why do you want to actually change your field?
हाँ वाई एमबीए तो थोड़ा चैलेंजिंग हो रहा है मेरे लिए इस पॉइंट पे डिफाइन करना बट आई एम वर्किंग ऑन इट थोड़ा एंडोर्स वगैरह
Those things will get sorted in your HR reviews, na? I don't think
yes
this is the
yes
platform to ask this.
नहीं बट लाइक यू सेड ना पहले किसी का कि जो अंडरग्रेड के सब्जेक्ट्स है वो भी थोड़ा सॉर्टेड होने चाहिए तो लाइक आई एम नॉट एबल टू गेट कि मेरे फील्ड से रिलेटेड मैं अंडरग्रेड के लिए कैसे प्रिपेयर कर सकती हूँ इफ यू हैव एनी आइडिया कि जो ऐसे थोड़ा अनरिलेटेड फील्ड से आते हैं हाउ दोस पीपल गो अबाउट इट
So, I think one thing just to clarify, I mean, don't even think that professors would not have any idea about architecture or about any background that you are coming from, right? So, definitely they are going, if they are going to ask you UG questions, they would be more relevant and they would be more technical or would be more around your areas, right? So, that means you have to cover your UG subjects. So, maybe I don't know what exactly is there when it comes to architecture, right? But definitely, at least from the student's point of view or from the mentor's point of view, I can get a list of questions from GPT, right? Or let's say the famous
Exactly.
questions, right? But as a student, you should have better idea ki, okay, these were my subjects and I should cover all the subjects, right? So if you have just 1 year of work ex, high chance that they will ask some questions from your UG as well. So even if you have a work ex of let's say 3 years also, I still suggest students to at least have some very basic idea about their UG part. And after that, I think in your profile, you should also have a strong hold over why do you want to do MBA or why do you want to change your field.
आपकी तो स्टोरी बहुत मैटर करती है सौम्या कि आप चेंज ही क्यों करना चाहते हो। आपने एक बड़ी डिफरेंट फील्ड ली, उसके बाद आपने उसमें काम किया और आप उसको एमबीए में आप कन्वर्ट करना चाह रहे हो।
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. I have a question too. Like my bachelor's is in business economics, so is it fine if I say that I'm not comfortable with economics? Like I did have business subjects in my bachelor's as well, like marketing, finance, etc. So is it fine if I say that okay, like I'm not comfortable with economics?
I believe you need to prepare whatever you can, and if like they ask you 3 4 questions, you answer some, you don't answer some, and post that trying answering few questions, then you might be able to say ki I'm not very comfortable with this. Can we ask questions on these subjects? I have prepared them well.
Okay, all right. So I should not say
But
try.
obviously, you can't just right away say ki no, I'm not very comfortable. At least try.
Okay, okay, all right. Thank you.
Can you please tell what was the competency test? Like, what was the weightage? For the three sections that were there: verbal, LR, and this managerial skills.
Yeah, total 20 questions were there. 5 were for the managerial thing, and I believe 7 for verbal and sorry, 8 for verbal and 7 for logical.
Okay.
I have a query. Like, मुझे ये mainly पूछना था कि if the people who go initially उनके competency और PR personal interview के लिए, और जो लोग लास्ट में एंड ऑफ द February में जाएंगे, ऐसा कुछ रहता है क्या कि जो जिन्होंने इनिशियली अपना इंटरव्यू दिया है उनके कन्वर्जन के चांसेस आर मोर देन द वन हु हैव गिवन इन द लास्ट? क्योंकि जनरली मैंने अभी ये एक्सपीरियंस किया, आई मे बी रॉन्ग इन दिस, क्योंकि मैंने अभी इनिशियल डेज में जिम गोवा का अचीवर्स राउंड था वो कन्वर्ट किया है मैंने। आई वाज द वेरी वन फर्स्ट, वो सेकंड डे पे मेरा शेड्यूल था। उसमें से लोगों के कन्वर्जन फर्स्ट और सेकंड डे ज्यादा हुए जितने लोगों से मेरा इंटरेक्शन हुआ, और कंपैरेटिवली जिनका लास्ट डे 20th को जिनका इंटरव्यू था शेड्यूल्ड, उनमें कन्वर्जन लेस वो हुए हैं। तो कैन वी एक्सपेक्ट द सेम थिंग हियर?
यूजुअली ऐसा होता नहीं है। दे आर वेरी अनबायस्ड कि कोई फर्स्ट आ रहा है या कोई लास्ट आ रहा है, लाइक पल्लव सेड। इट जस्ट बेसिकली डिपेंड्स ऑन योर इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन। If you are well prepared, if you have a good story, and if the interviewer is convinced that yes, you are somebody whom they want in their college, you can be placed, you feel like eligible candidate, they'll take you. ऐसा होना नहीं चाहिए. It might be a coincidence only.
Okay. And how's the waitlist thing like?
There is no waitlist in NMIMS. They give 1,200 calls, and till last year, what has happened? They give 1,200 calls. First 1,200 people, as per their ranking, are given the seats, and usually some people drop out and go to different colleges. So the bad side is, once the year starts, the first year when it starts, it's somewhere around 700, which boils down to 600 only in the second year.
Okay, so like just the 1,200 calls are out, and like उनमें से कुछ लोग लीव कर देते हैं because they are getting a better call, they have a better call. तो
Yes,
उसके
they
अलावा
take
कोई
leave. मेरे को
waitlist
करना है
movement
नहीं
नहीं
करना है.
रहता है?
There is no waitlist movement. So if you are that out of that 1,200, if you are even that 1,202 candidate or 1,201 candidate, you are not getting it.
Okay, और उसके बाद का मतलब like if there are more people leaving the calls, क्योंकि तो उसके अलावा भी कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है ना, like जो 1,200 का
कुछ
है
नहीं.
हो
Yes,
जाता
yes,
है में से ही people are selected.
yes. Once they announce the result, उसके बाद that's the final thing.
Okay, and like something related to my like I'm a fresher from Bachelor's of Pharmacy. I have few industrial trainings, so this cannot be mentioned in the like work experience thing, क्योंकि वो पार्ट टाइम तो नहीं, मतलब इंडस्ट्रियल ट्रेनिंग है, उसकी ना कोई इंटर्नशिप है ना वो है। तो उसको अचीवमेंट्स और को करिकुलर में मेंशन करना चाहिए कि इंटरव्यू में ही उसकी बात करनी चाहिए?
अचीवमेंट तो नहीं है यार ये.
अचीवमेंट्स तो नहीं है, लेकिन वहाँ पे जैसे कहीं पे भी ऑप्शन नहीं है इसको अपलोड करने का, कि मतलब कहाँ पे इसको थोड़ा सा पुट इन कर
एक
सकते हैं
यूजुअली एक
कि।
सेक्शन होता है कि समथिंग विच वी वांट टू ऐड।
बट अभी जैसे जो मैंने 1200 इनकी फीस थी वो पे करके जो डॉक्यूमेंट्स अपलोड सेक्शन दिख रहा है, उसमें एसओपी है, सारे बेसिक डॉक्यूमेंट्स हैं, और उसके अलावा एक को करिकुलर से रिलेटेड
एसओपी
चीज
में
है।
मेंशन कर दो ना, जैसे बाकी लोग अपना आर्टिकलशिप या कोई इंटर्नशिप या कोई पार्ट टाइम उसमें मेंशन करें, आप भी एसओपी में मेंशन कर दो।
एसओपी में मेंशन कर दूं, और फिर इंटरव्यू
हाँ
में इंट्रोडक्शन में उसको थोड़ा सा पंच इन करके हाईलाइट दिखा सकते हैं उसको अपनी प्रोफाइल का।
हाँ, मतलब if you want to share that experience, if you want to talk about some project which you have worked on, something you led, something you built, something
Yes.
related to MBA business, उसमें मेंशन करना, उसको आराम से उसको प्ले अराउंड करना उसके आगे, if you're confident enough.
थैंक यू सो मच।
Mhm. Anything else? Anybody?
And
Yes,
by
I have a
when
question.
can
What
we
do
Hello.
we need
solve
to submit in this extracurricular activity, or is it necessary to submit because there is no asterisk mark on it?
Sorry, come again.
So there is a option to submit a document named extracurricular activity, and there is no
Mhm.
asterisk mark on it. So it's not necessary to submit. Should we submit?
If you have participated in anything, if you have got any certificates or something which you want to mention it. If you don't have anything, then obviously you can't mention anything.
Like I don't have anything significant like national or state level championship, but the extracurricular which are
If
in
you feel
college.
that you have something which you want to talk about, mention it. But if you feel कि नहीं, this is not relevant enough to, मतलब it's not important enough जिसके बारे में मेरे को इंटरव्यू में बात करनी है, then don't mention it.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Oh, hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a very small question. So, is there negative marking in competency test?
I believe there is not, but very like I'm not very sure about this.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
Uh, yes, one more query. Like, I have recently graduated in 2025 and I have received my provisional degree. But there is an option to upload your degree if you have graduated in the. So, what should I upload? The provisional degree twice, or like I should leave that place?
Yeah, these are very technical questions. Probably there is an NMIMS ka query ID.
Okay, I'll mail it on
Mail on
that.
those things. Yeah.
Okay.
Because if I tell you to upload something and
Yes,
there is something else to be
that might
uploaded,
go wrong, and like
exactly,
yes,
correct.
I should
So
check it
ask
with
the
the
relevant
NMM people.
authorities; they would know that.
Okay.
So if you have interned with an NGO for like 4 months, so where can you mention it? In the extracurricular or where?
You can mention it in extracurricular.
Okay.
Again, like I said to the other guy who was talking about something, that pharma project. So if it is, mention it in your extracurricular activities, put that in your SOP as well. If you feel that is important, you did something great, you want to talk about it in SOP, it's a very great thing, because then you might be asked questions based on your SOP in your interviews. So put it there as well.
Okay.
मुझे क्वेरी थी,
Yeah.
ये 10th के बाद वाले डेट्स फ्रीज्ड है कि वो बुकड हो चुके हैं?
भाई मुझे कैसे पता होगा ये चीज, ये तो
बहुत सारे बच्चों की क्वेरी है कि 10 to 26 वाले डेट्स काफी मतलब वो अभी उसमें हो नहीं रहा, बुकिंग नहीं हो रही।
I'm not sure about this because this is something with the management जो आपके पास portal. I can't see anybody's portal. I'm so currently in the college, so this is not something I'll be aware of.
ओके।
I have one question. You mentioned that they roll out 1200 sort of offer letters. And on day one, there's approx 700 people who join, and then year two onwards, there's only 600. So, like, how is that different? I mean, how do the statistics change? People drop out or anything?
Some people drop out, some people fail, different things.
Oh, that way. Okay,
Even
okay.
even after the college is converted, let's say the college is started. So usually the college start in the first week of June, but some IIMs and some results are still pending till July. So people, even after the first day as well, people are dropping out.
Got it. Okay, okay. And
Yeah,
these figures are for NMIMS Mumbai only, right?
I'm talking about Mumbai only.
Yes, okay. Got it.
Hi, so I graduated in the year 2024, and ever
Hmm.
since I've been a part of my family business. And
Okay.
I graduated in BSc Mathematics with Economics and Biotech. Okay, those were my minors. And I don't know my graduation subjects really well. So, like, if I just chat GPT most of it, and like proper intensive chat GPT and learn those sort of answers like which are usually asked, do you think will that be enough, or do I actually have to go back and do all of the study thing? Because I was thinking of taking my interview towards the family business experience and focusing mainly on that.
You can do that, but if the interview
Yeah,
thinks that they want to ask you questions
only on
regarding your graduation,
mathematics.
is
Yes.
it feel like they want to ask? Because see, interview can ask anything under the sky.
हाँ, that is true.
If they,
So I thought maybe if I prepare ऊपर ऊपर से mainly mathematics like जो basically usually पूछा जाता है, बहुत intensive नहीं, तो क्या वो suffice करेगा या फिर मेरा ही फुद्दू बन जाएगा? हाँ,
very honestly, there is no guarantee ki what
है
interview can
ना?
ask and how,
Yeah, so I
like,
think हाँ,
if you feel, again I'm telling you कि there is no guarantee to anything कि interview क्या पूछ सकता है. If you feel that, मतलब what we will advise is we will never say कि ऊपर ऊपर से कर लो, क्योंकि
ऊपर
अगर
ऊपर
उसने
से
कुछ
नहीं.
extensive पूछ लिया, then you
हाँ,
will be like कि अरे मैंने तो आप लोगों से पूछा था, आपने मेरे को ऊपर ऊपर से कर लो. So
अरे नहीं नहीं मैं
prepare
फीस भर
best,
करूंगी.
but
Okay.
prepare the best what you can to your ability. फिर जो होगा सो होगा. अगर कुछ नहीं पता होगा, नहीं आता होगा, तो that day you will try to do like manage it in certain way कि probably ये ऐसे है वैसे है, या मुझे नहीं आता, या I'll give it a try, या some different question. But at
Okay.
least preparation समय तो you give your 100% ना.
Okay. Yes.
You
Thank
don't
you.
cut the corners when you're preparing.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
By when can we expect the results out? Like previously, I mentioned that I have a call from Achievers Round, and what I have heard from the seniors and the mentors from that college, that of Achievers Round, you have to pay the first term fees in the by the end of the February to lock your seat. So, like, of course, Feb end तक तो interview चल रहे हैं, तो result might not come on that, but by when generally the results, like for example last year, कब तक results आ गए थे?
Not sure. I'm not very sure about this because I entered last to last year. मैं
Okay.
last to last year का फिर भी बता सकता हूँ, इस साल का कैसे, पिछले साल का नहीं बता पाऊंगा.
Last to last year,
Last
like
to
the
last year,
procedure was.
I interviewed on 6th of February. My result was out on 15th of February.
Okay, and last to last year भी similar pattern ही था कि like 1200 calls.
Yes, yes, yes. वो पैटर्न इनका सिमिलर रहता है.
Okay, so like in March the calls were out, like the who people who converted it.
I believe yes. मार्च में आया था, मार्च 15th के आसपास आया था. They were 1 month delay से चल रहा था.
Okay.
What I remember. Not very sure
Okay.
about the fact. Anybody? Anything else you want to ask?
I have one more question. So, like I said, I did my bachelor's in business economics, and I'm not very comfortable with economics right now. But in my college, I did get a rank one. So I would like to mention it because it looks good on the profile. But again, I'm afraid that it might attract like more than usual academic questions. So like I'm not sure if I should mention it or not. Like, is the trade-off worth it?
Yes, you're digging on own grave. If you're mentioning that you would rank one in your college, and you don't know the basics or you're not able to answer it, that doesn't look good on your story. Either
So I
don't
should
mention
just
it,
hmm. So
or
I should
prepare so well that you can answer each and every question.
okay, okay. I think it's better not to mention because I don't think I have enough time to prepare now.
Yeah. Well, are we expecting any more questions?
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yeah, please tell me.
Sir, I am a YouTube content creator with more than 15,000 subscribers, 9 million plus views, and work with many multiple brands.
Okay.
So, should I mention this? And if yes, then how to structure it?
Yeah, I believe this is a question for your HR review. And this is,
Govind,
if,
most of them, I think, are not enrolled with us, or probably not with anyone else as well, right? So, guys,
okay,
just giving you a context that HR reviews basically where you have to first write around 10 or 12 questions that we give you, right? Based on that questions, let's say if you are sitting with me or Gobind or any other mentor, right? Just by reading all those questions, we will suggest you the changes, and we will also get to know ki what all you have done in your life, your strengths, your weaknesses. Tell me about yourself.
exactly.
And then further, let's say if you want more sessions, you can just book more sessions and write more answers to probable important HR questions. So this is how your journey should look like. In 1 minute or even in 5 minutes, without having any idea about who is Ronak or what type of content creator you are, it is very difficult for us. Then we have to also
Yeah.
compare, like some girl just has mentioned, right? First, she told me that she does not want to talk on the economics part, but after 20-30 minutes, now she is saying she was rank 1. So now if you're a rank 1, as a professor or as mentor, I want to spend some time on your UG basics. Not even basics, I want to go in depth in sub subjects, right? Because rank 1 is like rank 1 only, right? He or she should be brilliant, extra brilliant. तो अगेन द पॉइंट इज थोड़ा कॉन्टेक्स्ट सेटअप करना पड़ेगा. इफ यू आर अ कंटेंट क्रिएटर, वी हैव टू सी कि और कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें उसमें ऐड कर सकते हैं, या दिस इज द biggest achievement, something like that. Then again, if you are putting this, then how will you relate it to why MBA, why NMIMS, some things like this.
कि स्टोरी में कैसे अलाइन हो रहा है वो बहुत डिपेंड करता है, आपके कॉन्टेक्स्ट में वो कितना बैठ रहा है, उसमें बहुत जरूरी है. अगर लेट्स से किसी ने पूछ लिया कि आपके 15,000 सब्सक्राइबर्स है, 9.4 मिलियन व्यूज है, देन व्हाई नॉट बी अ कंटेंट क्रिएटर, व्हाई डू यू वांट टू कम टू लाइक गो फॉर एन एमबीए. तो वो सारी चीजें अलाइन करने के लिए हमें उसको एक डिफरेंट तरीके से या किस तरीके से मेंशन करना है वो सोचना पड़ेगा. सो जस्ट लाइक पल्लव सेड, वी कांट रैंडमली टेल यू कि हाँ आप मेंशन कर सकते हो या नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि वो किसी भी तरफ जा सकता है.
I have recently
Okay, so
taken an
got it.
interview of one girl who has a call from IIM Ahmedabad. वो मैंने YouTube पे भी डाला हुआ है. If you just go through that interview ना, so that girl has a 5 year work ex, और उसने बहुत सारे numbers लिखे हुए हैं अपने SOP में. So somewhere she has mentioned that she achieved 95% satisfaction rate and 95% repeat rate. So I just asked her simply कि what is repeat rate and what is satisfaction rate? How we can calculate repeat rate? She was not able to answer anything around that, right? So at this point of time, अगर आपके let's say 50,000 भी followers हैं या कुछ views हैं, right? For example, let's say I will give you my example. So in my IIM Ahmedabad interview, I told them, and I used to tell them in every interview कि I have this many subscribers on YouTube and I have this many views, right? Same as yours, right? And in IIM Ahmedabad interview, they asked me a couple of things. First thing is कि how the YouTube monetization works. What are the conditions for you to be eligible, right? What kind of play buttons are there, what are their conditions, right? So maybe I was prepared for those kind of questions because I was expecting that kind of stuff. बट अगर आप एज अ कंटेंट क्रिएटर मेंशन कर रहे हो और उन्होंने पूछ लिया कि चलो इंस्टाग्राम पे है, जहां भी है, उस पे ये चीज कैसे वर्क करती है, हु इज द सीईओ ऑफ यूट्यूब, हु इज द सीईओ ऑफ इंस्टाग्राम. सो आई रेड इट ऑल. मुझे पता था यूट्यूब कैसे स्टार्ट हुआ, राइट? यूट्यूब पे फर्स्ट वीडियो कौन सी थी, आई प्रिपेयर्ड एवरीथिंग अराउंड दैट. So that is the major point. If you are thinking 15,000 followers or 30,000 followers is a very big thing, I don't believe in this word at this point of time. Even the professors would think that, right? ठीक है, आपके 9 million views हैं, but now what after that? You should be prepared for counter questions. कि ठीक है 9 million views हैं, what do you mean by that? How you developed your passion? Why you are not continuing there? There can be technical questions, behavioral questions.
Yes, sir, got it. Thank you so much.
I had one question. I just wanted to ask, like, you recently mentioned about that academic part. We shouldn't like mention it in the during the interview, but can we mention it while filling the form, like while filling the not in the SOP, but in the achievement section?
Come again, what exactly is your question?
Like, I wanted to ask if we should mention about our academic achievements in the form, like not while an interview, but in the form. Only in the form if we fill it.
There
What
would
kind
be
of
a,
section?
section.
There is
Yeah.
a section, so his doubt is even in that section, should he fill it or not? I don't know. The question is not clear. Why you are not
Yeah,
mentioning it in the
that yeah,
interview?
yeah, that only. No,
Like,
like
what is the
you
achievement?
recently, like I was ranked 2 in my college, so I just wanted to ask, like I would be very prone to questions as Govind mentioned, so I just wanted to ask if we only fill it in the form, will we
No, no.
be
See.
supposed to know answers?
The point is clear. If you're rank two, right, either you should take
Hmm.
pride in that, which means you should fill it in form as well as you should definitely mention it in the interview as well. Because rankers का एक अलग मतलब everyone wants rankers in their college. But once you say
Yeah.
that you are rank two, so you have to justify that through your knowledge. And if you feel that you are prone to a lot of questions, then don't even mention anything around your CGPA or around your rank. सो इट कैन नॉट हैपन लाइक दैट कि आपने फॉर्म में बोल दिया कि मैं रैंक टू हूँ और इंटरव्यू में यू आर एक्सपेक्टिंग कि उस पर कोई क्वेश्चन ही ना आए.
Yeah.
फॉर्म भी तो पढ़ेंगे ही ना वो लोग. फॉर्म भी तो एआई, अगर आप
हाँ
एआई इंटरव्यू होने वाला है, वो फीड किया जाएगा ना फॉर्म एआई को, तो एआई उसमें से उठा लेगा.
No, like not in NMIMS, but all other form as well, like
इवन इन अदर
which
फॉर्म्स मतलब फिर पॉइंट क्या है इफ यू आर सेइंग आई वांट टू मेंशन रैंक टू बट उसके बारे में कोई बात ही ना करे. व्हाट इज द पॉइंट? आप सोच रहे हो कि सम सीवी विल गो इनटू सम सॉफ्टवेयर और उसको पॉइंट एलोकेट होंगे? ऐसा नहीं होगा ना. रैंक टू लिख रहे हो तो देन डेफिनेटली 101% यू शुड एक्सपेक्ट कि क्वेश्चन आएंगे ही आएंगे. हो ही नहीं सकता.
like we should go through all of our subjects during the semesters. Like
You
I
are rank
had
two.
30 plus subjects.
You should. You must.
Or thanks.
Any last question? Just one last question before we close the session.
Yeah,
Yes, I have a question.
I had one question, like how to go about starting for the interview. Like I haven't started. I have answers for the basic questions, but then the technical questions. So I've my graduation is in accounting and finance. So you said that brush upon all the concepts. So apart from that, the basic questions, and apart from the main concepts, what else we have to prepare?
Lot of things यार
आर यू
मतलब.
रेडी विद द. हाँ, करेक्ट. करंट अफेयर्स हो गए, एग्जैक्टली इस समय चल क्या रहा है कंट्री में, वर्ल्ड में. देयर टू मेनी थिंग्स. देन अगेन द बिहेवियरल क्वेश्चंस कि
Your hobbies, your
व्हाई एमबीए,
CPA,
स्ट्रेंथ्स, वीकनेसेस, एवरीथिंग.
बहुत कुछ है मतलब. स्ट्रक्चर्ड रखो जितना रख सकते हो. If we are emphasizing on UG part just because you guys are worried about the UG part, but it may happen कि UG पे कुछ टच ही ना हो आपके इंटरव्यू में, और UG is just let's say 10% of the entire discussion.
Okay, okay, fair, makes sense. Thank you.
Cool, guys. Let's wrap up this session, right? In case you are looking for a structured preparation, you can definitely check out our course on Road to Cat 99, or maybe you can get in touch with Gobind or me as well, right? And yeah, just one tip for everyone, that prepare very well, because this might be your one of the best calls. So don't take it for granted. The competition is everywhere, right? So prepare well, and yeah, best of luck for your interviews.